So if you think that Australia is scary, my Canadian sister, I'm going to tell you an absolutely terrifying story straight from your own country. So the winter of 1693 came a lot faster, a lot earlier, and a lot more fierce than anybody from previous years had ever prepared for. Now, a small group of hunters and their families were making their way through the northern forests towards the Great Lakes, where today you may know those areas as the Quebec and Ontario regions. As they were making their way towards the Great Lakes, a huge storm had set in. All of the trails behind them and in front of them were completely covered in snow and ice. And these hunters, realizing rather fast that there was no way back and no way forward, ended up taking their family and seeking shelter in some old caves. Now, the stones of these caves were covered in a black tar from old past fires from people caught in desperate situations much like themselves. Now, for every day that went by, their strength started to dwindle as they grew weaker, concerns started to rise, while the fire started to lower. They were starting to run out of fuel and supplies. Now, every day that went by, the hunters would go back out into the snow, into the ice, setting traps, trying to catch some food. But every day the hunters got the same result. Their traps stayed empty, the rivers stayed frozen, and the children started to whimper as their bellies stayed empty. Mutters started to form around the small dimly lit campfire, saying that the spirits of winter were punishing them. On the 7th night of being snowed in, one of the hunters said, around the slowly burning embers left of the fire, "We are not going to survive without eating. We're not all going to make it out of here alive." Now the hunter started to speak about hunger and his lust for meat, and before anybody could stop him, it was too late. He had turned on his own kin. The hunter had turned on his own, tearing the families and his friends apart, the men, the women, and the children. With each bite the hunter took, his hunger worsened and worsened. His limbs started to stretch and extend. His skin started to grab to his bone. It said that his lips and his heart turned to ice. A dead yellow gaze overtook his eyes, and he let out a scream that was carried with the wind through the frozen valleys. Now, the Algonquian people say that as soon as human flesh passed his lips, the hunter was gone. The hunter had broken the worst taboo possible. He had turned on his own, fallen into hunger and greed, and in the dying light of that cave, a new horror was born, and that is the Wendigo.